Hello, blessings to everyone. We are here today to have a conversation with the Arcturians. So I, Sue Lee, will be Sue, me sometimes, and sometimes I will be channeling the Arcturians. So I'll try to keep that clear so that you, the listener, know when it's me and when it's the Arcturians. All right. So, Shawnna, why don't you start with a question?
Yes, well, thank you for taking the time to provide insight at these, during these exciting times that we find ourselves. We always value your information and guidance, and we were curious if there's any information you'd wish to share with us at this time with so many energetic fluctuations and potential realities. We're open to hearing what you feel might be helpful for us.
Well, we, the Arcturians, will go back a bit and continue the conversation we've been having with Suzille this morning. For it is about taking a moment within your day to realize that you have actually been on this path all of your life. Now, for all of your life, you may not have realized, because for all of your life, you may not have yet been awake to the fact that you are actually a galactic being who chose to take a physical form to come down and assist Gaia with her ascension. But because of the times that we are moving into within this now, it is good for all of you to take a trip down memory lane, as you might say, and go back to your earliest experiences of when your quote unquote imagination led you to pretend that maybe you were talking to someone else. Now, the reality is that there are not many children that do not have some form of invisible friend or stuffed animal or favorite metal truck or some means through which they can allow their imaginations to take them into a different reality. Now, Suzille is just pulling into her mind of her son and how he had a yellow truck, a tractor truck. And he went up in the top yard that was all the dirt, and he built roads, and he put little soldiers and people on the roads, and he created his little world. Now, this is something that most of you did as children. Whereas the boys were maybe making the tractors, especially back in Suzille's time, when boys were boys and girls were girls, she was talking to her dolls. Her dolls were very alive, and she would talk to them. She had this very huge Raggedy Annie doll that she slept with every night, and one morning she woke up and the doll was gone. She was enraged. How dare this doll abandon her? Now, of course, she'd had a father that abandoned her, that she totally pushed out of her mind. But weeks later, when she saw the doll underneath the bed wedged against the wall, she said, "Well, you ran away from me. You could just stay there." Okay, so now we want you to go into these early years, because in these early years, perhaps you were just playing, just using your imagination. But what you were actually doing is that you were remembering that you have immense creative power. You are remembering that everything is alive if you breathe life into it. And within your fantasies, you were very often remembering your other incarnations on other planets and even being on the ship And perhaps you were even remembering your mission. So, Shawnna, do you have any early memories that you had that were actually, now you realize, much more important than just child's play?
Oh, certainly. And recently we went through the interdimensional life review process, which was also helpful in, guiding us back through those stages of life. And of course, it began as children, and our, remembrance of those times and recognition of interdimensional communication, even at quite a young age. And I do have instances where I recall, speaking to beings that other people could not see or perceive. And it was, it felt telepathic communication at that age, and that was quite young. And also, the world was a different place. It was before we were told, no, those things are not real. So it had no boundaries, it had no restrictions. And like you said, it was about creativity. And going back to explore that, it feels quite relevant for this time, because you've mentioned the importance of, mastering your thoughts and emotions, because that's what creates your reality. So imagine if we go back to that freedom and innocence and creative sense of being, where we can create whatever we want.
Yes, and also as young children, you very often remember something. Such as Suzille, she always looked up to the stars at night, and there was a star, and she would say, "Take me with you, come get me, I want to go home. Hello, are you there? Do you hear me?" And everyone, what are you talking to a star for? But some of those stars weren't stars. But she had no concept. There was no concept. In fact, when she was young, there was a big campaign about horror stories about the evil beings from other planets coming to harm. So in the 50s, there was a huge campaign against any type of belief that possibly if there was somebody out there, that somebody out there was very mean and very scary and would kidnap you and do horrid things to you. And that is about the time the Illuminati started really moving in and really taking power. And they wanted to take that power to keep people limited. But then along with that, there were people like Walt Disney, who had all these wonderful cartoons that you could use your imagination and be anyone that you wanted. And so there was always that choice. There was always a juxtaposition to, if you wanted to focus on that which was fearful, or if you wanted to focus on that which was joyful and fun and creative and adventurous. Did you wish to add something to that?
I think that's quite a valid point. Even as we live our lives, at this current time frame, I suppose, because you can choose which reality you want to entertain, and it can be yours instantaneously. We've discovered that because the frequency continues to heighten, so we know that it's almost instant manifestation now. So
yes, all of you, or all of you that are inclined to attend to this message that we are sending out, are moving very swiftly into the fifth-dimensional version of reality. Now, it is much like if you have moved your house and you're taking a while to move. So you might go to your new house and visit it, but you have to paint it and do some yard work, so you can't live there yet. And so then you go back to your old house and you live your old self. And then, you want to go back, you're excited, you want to see your new house, what does that new paint job look like? And so then you go back and, it's dried, so now I can get some curtains, and then you go back to your old house. And so this backing and forthing, where you're moving into your fifth dimensional reality and saying, oh, wow, this is great, but I just have a couple more things to do. I have to bring some more of me up here. And so there is this process that you are going through, that you are collecting you. You are collecting all the versions of you, the memories of you, the events within your life that you want to pack in your bag and take into your new life. Now, there are some versions of you and some parts of you that just is like, oh, well, this table, I don't need this table anymore, and this chair isn't really very comfortable anymore. And so you give it to the Goodwill, or you put it out in the front yard and somebody comes and takes it. So there is a process of what part of you is going to make the cut into your fifth dimensional self, and what part of you will, well, we don't want to say left behind, but there is a part of you that is very third dimensional, and you want to leave that third dimensional component of yourself in the body of Gaia, on the body of Gaia, because you are not leaving Gaia, you are helping Gaia to expand. So therefore, you are cleaning up any messes that you've left. Now, this is not as easy as moving out of one house, because this is cleaning up every incarnation you have ever had on the planet Earth. So this is not an easy task. There will be quite a few memories. There will be quite a few lives. There is a huge energy field of you, of all the yous that you have ever been in any of your incarnations on the planet Gaia. So let's just take a moment and assist all of you to bring it all in. Bring it all in, because you are selling your old house, so to speak, and you have to clean it out because somebody else is going to take that spot. So someone else is going to fill that energy field, that frequency of Earth, because you are now moving up into a new spot. You are now moving up into a higher frequency. And as you move up into that higher frequency, you will pull up with you many of your memories, your ideas, and places. In other words, places that you have lived in, places that you have enjoyed. You will bless them from your higher dimensional self. You will assist them to also expand their energy field into a higher frequency, just as you are expanding your energy field into a higher frequency.
Well, that's definitely no small undertaking when we imagine, all of the lifetimes that we've held and experiences that we're ready to resolve and release and transmute. So I imagine it comes up in our current lives in different ways, doesn't it? As memories, as dreams, as just things that we see playing out in society, like ancestral healing and releasing as well. So it seems like it's larger than just ourselves, too.
Yes, it is actually about the planet. And those of you of humanity who have taken an embodiment during this now and have awakened yourself to the reality of what is occurring within this now. You stood in line. You wrote your divine plan. You wanted to come into this now. What an exciting time to be able to come into and have an incarnation on a planet that is on the verge of transmuting into the fifth dimension. Now, from your higher perspective, you may have well forgotten that when the light gets brighter, the dark gets darker, because the polarities begin to separate. Now, before, such as when Suzille was younger, the polarities weren't as separate. The light and the dark weren't as separate. You could not see, oh, this is something that the Illuminati did. Oh, this is from an enlightened being. People were just all people. And it was after World War II, and so, the United States was in this illusion that we're number one and we won the war. And nobody knew that the United States took all the Nazi scientists back home to the United States. And so no one knew. Everyone was naive. They were the winners. All right. And so then that time progressed into different situations, and the world got bigger, and then the internet happened, and then the world got very small, because everyone could talk to anyone, anywhere on the entire planet. Now, maybe one of them had to be up in the middle of the night to do so, but it was a possible reality. Once that possible reality came about, that anyone could talk to anyone, anywhere on the entire planet, then Gaia became a living being. Gaia became the home for all these different kinds of people.